Thank you. And there was some news made today about Canada during the cabinet meeting. Pleased to bring in host of the Charbonne Report, Michael Charbonne, who reports from Canada. Welcome in. Good to see you, Michael.
Hi, Bianca. Pleased to be with you and your valued viewers.
All right. So President Trump says your new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, called him yesterday and said he wants to make a deal. That's what Trump said. And he'll be coming to the White House within a week. Of course, there was more sort of a little bit more less flattering rhetoric during the campaign. What's your read on the reaction to what Trump says? Is Prime Minister Carney coming? Is there a deal you think that is imminent over these tariffs?
Absolutely, Bianca. We need each other. You talk about precious minerals. You talk about gas. You talk about $323 million going over the bridge in Detroit every day between Canada and the United States. Carney was elected because he made Canada fear Trump. He is going to ride in, if they say, on his nice white horse and say, I'm going to save Canada. I'm going to make a deal. Well, the unfortunate reality is when Carney put reciprocal tariffs, he poisoned a little bit of the taste of the United States. But let us hope that he can go down there and fix it. The absolute solution that's going to make the best sense for both of our countries is zero tariffs across the board. We are integrated in the auto business, in the energy business. China just took away 90% of its gas and precious oil. We have gas. We have precious minerals. 600 miles north of Toronto is called the Ring of Fire. We need to do a deal. We need to work together. And the two of us can be a huge market, a huge market. I mean, the United States purchases $3 trillion worth of stuff every day around the world. I mean, they are so important to the GDP of the world. Donald Trump had to inoculate the patient. They're in recovery. There's going to be no recession. I'm no analyst, but I'm going to tell you, everybody that I've talked to is saying we're going to get a boom. There's going to be an uptick. Everybody hold on. Don't get scared, Bianca.
Well, you know, it's interesting, too. Well, if that's the case, then that's just another potential deal in the books. You know, we've heard from Lutnick that one deal is complete, but it would sort of be leading to the fact that President Trump here was right, that this is about evening the playing field, even with countries that are more adversarial to us. China might be the one that's the, thornier one. But it seems like what I'm hearing from you and the reaction is exactly what President Trump had expected and hoped how it would play out if they were modeling all of this around the globe.
Well, let's consider what all those trade percentages and tariffs were on. It started at the end of World War II, 1945. World War II ends. America is rich. America is powerful. America is a manufacturing behemoth. If America went into certain parts of Europe that was poor, decimated, everybody was hungry, it would have taken over everything. It would have taken over the wine business in France and killed the liquor business in Germany. That's why there were those tariffs. We're in 2025 now. It's an even playing field. Donald Trump is 100% correct in saying that there has to be even trade and a more fair treatment, I should say, of the United States. That's what it should be.
You and I know this very well, that part of the conversation started, and we're showing images of China's President Xi Jinping, is that President Trump did an emergency action saying it was fentanyl that was coming across the Canadian border, and that's why there were these, emergency actions and that Canada wasn't doing enough. How is that story still playing to the north there? Because obviously fentanyl is a huge issue here in America, and it was a big point on sort of starting this trajectory here on the tariff talk.
Well, let's just say when President Trump, I should say, decided to make fentanyl a focus, you have to make fentanyl as a topic. Everybody is guilty until they come up. I understand that. I think it's fair. We all know that China is sending precursors to Mexico. Mexico is mixing it. The cartels are sending it through the United States and some through Canada. But it was not as bad as everybody was saying it was coming from Canada. But Canada put, I think it was $1.3 million immediately against our border. We strengthened the border. We're doing much more for that. It really wasn't as much as a factor as it was made out to be, but RCMP is now working with the United States. We have a task force. So we too understand fentanyl is wrong, but I think that was a false moniker for Canada, but was legitimate with regards to China and Mexico. But it's still a legitimate thing that Canada had to address, Bianca.
Now, we do hear the phrase 51st state being talked about and floated. It's probably a very, still sore subject for, national pride there. But, I mean, where does that conversation go? Let's say Prime Minister comes, as President Trump says, in a week, and there's a deal. It seems like, it's all kumbaya. But does that, 51st state go away forever? What's your read as somebody who tracks politics very closely and knows how our politics work, too?
Bianca, you and I chatted when I was in Charlevoix, Quebec. I was reporting live there, did a couple of hits with you regarding the G7.
Yeah.
When I was outside, there was a cigarette smoking area where all the people would come out. So I had a great opportunity, not that I was smoking, but I had a great opportunity to talk to many of these people from Germany, from Italy, and they're all saying to me, are you not upset? We can't believe that he's even suggesting that he would invade Canada. And I'm going, guys, everybody just take a breath. I mean, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. It's chaos,
right.
Catastrophe, and everything until it comes to fruition. It's not a big part, and I don't think it's going to last. Bianca.
And, I think I would amend the word chaos, and I know what you're saying. I think it is somebody who is not afraid of taking some big swings, as somebody who really feels confident in his, second administration to make some change. And he knows how quickly those midterms come up. So Donald Trump obviously is a game changer in many ways, a politician like no another. Michael Charbonne, thanks for your comments today and your insight from Canada, our partners to the north, and perhaps one of the trade deals and the first one to get done. Thanks, Michael, as always. I want to bring in now attorney and economist John Jordan, though, to talk about where we're at today in